welcome to Restless Chipotle Kitchen. Today we're going to be making a classic, Mom's meatloaf. Now, meatloaf has gotten a bad rap over the years. It can be dry, it can be tasteless, but not this meatloaf. Let's go over to the kitchen, I'll show you how I do it. This is a little step that I like to take. It's not absolutely necessary and you do not have to do it. But I like to saute the green pepper and the onion together and the garlic together. It just gives it a little bit of a better flavor. Now I've used a frozen onion and green pepper mix, well actually a bell pepper mix. And so it's cut bigger than what I would normally have it when I chop it. And as I'm sauteing it, I'm just going to break these up a little bit so they're not so big in our meatloaf. When the onions and the peppers start to caramelize, I like to add the garlic. If you add it before, then sometimes it'll get scorched, and nothing tastes worse than scorched garlic. And that's just going to take a quick little minute. This pepper mix was actually for fajitas. I thought I had an onion and pepper blend when I went to start this video, and I didn't. I just had fajita mix, so I'm making do with that. You can get, in the frozen section, you can get the onion and pepper blend that's diced really small, and that's what you're going to want. Turn that off. This little appliance here it's my mom's from about I think she got it for Christmas in like 1967, and it's still going strong. I just really love it. All right, so this is done, and we're gonna set this aside. We have here 2 pounds of lean ground beef. When I'm making meatloaf, I like to use a 90-10 or a 95-5, certainly not anything less than a 90-10. The reason for this is that as your meatloaf cooks, all of the oil, grease is going to come out of it, and it's going to sit in the pan with the meatloaf. If you have a leaner blend, it's not so fatty, and I think it works a lot better. It still has lots of flavor. To our ground beef, we're going to add the vegetables that we just sauteed. We're going to add diced tomatoes. I use Ro Tel with the chilies in it because I like that extra little spice. You can use an Italian diced tomato or plain diced tomatoes, whatever you like. But we're adding the diced tomatoes with the juice. We're adding breadcrumbs, 2 eggs, and 1/3 of a cup of ketchup. I'm using spicy ketchup in this, again, because I like that spice, but you don't have to. You can use plain ketchup or whatever kind you like. And then I'm using a homemade seasoned salt, one of my homemade seasoned salts, but you can use whatever seasoned salt you prefer or plain salt and pepper. All right, I've just washed my hands, and you know there's only one way to mix meatloaf, and that's to get your hands in it and do it. So we're just gonna mix it all up evenly, or as evenly as possible, because you want the ingredients all the way through the meatloaf, and you want the meat really broken up. One of the reasons, or probably the main reason, that meatloaf is dry and tough, and it's just that it's too compact and the ingredients haven't been mixed in enough. So we're going to sit here and get these ingredients really mixed in and make sure that all of the meat is broken up. There's no hard little chunks. and that are stuck together. And we're going to make sure that the vegetables are evenly distributed throughout this mixture. Once it's all mixed up, I'm going to pack it into these two 1.5 quart loaf pans. Now, these are the same pans that I use for bread. They're by Pyrex, and they are, let me read on the bottom, make sure, they are 1.5 quarts. So you're going to put half the meat in one, half the meat in the other. You're not going to press it down or pack it down. You just want it to be in there kind of gently. But evenly, so obviously you're going to level it out. You just don't want to push it down. While the oven is preheating to 350 degrees, I'm going to set these aside and make the glaze. So to this bowl, I'm going to add brown sugar, Worcestershire sauce, and about a tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. If you don't have balsamic, then you can use cider vinegar, and that'll be fine. To that mixture, I'm adding about 1/4 cup of ketchup, and I'm just eyeballing it. It doesn't have to be exact. And then you're going to mix that up. With the glaze done, we're going to set it aside and take our meatloaves and put them in the oven at 350. They're going to need to cook for a full hour, but I'm going to set the timer for 40 minutes. And when the timer goes off, I'm going to put the glaze on and then bake it for another 15 minutes or so. So I'll see y'all then. Okay, y'all, we're getting our meatloaves out of the oven to put on the glaze. If you see an excess of grease in the pan, just pour it off gently, carefully. All right, so we've poured off the extra grease that accumulated while it was baking, and I'm just going to take my glaze and give it a little stir, and then take a brush and just very gently brush that on the meatloaf. It's going to go back in the oven, and that glaze is going to bake on very sticky and sweet and tangy and just delicious. It's going to be so good. So I'll see y'all back in about 20 minutes. All right, y'all, here's our finished meatloaves, 2 of them, and I've let them sit for about 5 to 10 minutes just to settle. If you try to take them out while they're too hot, they'll definitely fall apart. Now you can cut them while they're right in there and serve them from the baking dish, but I'm going to take one out so you can see it as I cut it. There we go. It goes right on there just like that. Doesn't it look good? Let's take a taste. All right, y'all. It's meaty. It smells so good. The glaze is tangy and sweet. I'm gonna take this over to the table and let's taste it. Here it is, y'all. Doesn't it look good? The glaze is tangy and sweet and a little bit spicy. The meatloaf is tender and juicy, and the flavor is amazing. So perfect. This is not your mom's dry meatloaf. So good. Grab the family, grab some mashed potatoes, make this soon, and I'll see y'all next time, okay? Don't forget to subscribe. The full recipe is down below, and you can get the printable recipe and the nutrition information in the link to restlesschipotle.com. I hope you'll subscribe. I hope you'll come back, and I'll see y'all next week. Love y'all. Bye.